thank you very much. This is a nice, big, beautiful crowd. You have parking 10 miles deep. And I just want to start off by saying, hello, Minden. Hello, Minden. We love you. You've been so nice to me, and this state has been so great to me, and we love Nevada. We love Nevada. I'm thrilled to be back in your great state with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. 31 days from now, the people of Nevada are going to fire your radical Democrat governor, Steve Sisolak. Shouldn't be there. A radical left. You're going to defeat your extreme left-wing senator, not respected at all in Washington, D.C., Catherine Cortez Masto. Hasn't done a thing on the border. Hasn't done a thing. You're going to send Joe Lombardo to the governor's mansion. And you're going to send Adam Laxalt to the U.S. Senate. And you're going to elect an incredible slate of true America First Republicans up and down the ballot. And we are going to end crazy Nancy Pelosi's political career once and for all, right? And end that career. She is crazy. And she is really bad for our country, too. Under Democrat rule, the price of gas in Nevada is up 100% from the days of the Trump administration. 2 years ago, think of it, 2 years ago, everything was so good in our country, and now it's going to pieces. It's falling apart. You now have gasoline $5 today, $5.54 a gallon. It was $1.87 a couple of years ago. You're second only to California. Someday you may catch him. I hope not. Inflation is costing the typical Nevada family $845 a month. These aren't my numbers. These are numbers from the people that do the numbers in Washington, and they try and make them as good as possible. You know that, meaning low. So when you see that, it's over $1,000 probably a month already. It's $10,000 a year and probably a lot higher than that nationwide. 26 million low-income American families have had their entire life savings completely obliterated. Thank you very much to the Biden administration. The southern border has been abolished. Illegal aliens are pouring in by the millions and millions. Our country is being inundated with fentanyl and deadly drugs, with 250,000 people a year, in the opinion of many, are dying, and families are being ruined because of what they've done to our border. Murders in Nevada rose 66% after the radical Democrats began their defund the police crusade. How about the defund the police? And they haven't stopped. There is only one way to end this madness. If you want to watch the decline and fall of America and save the American dream, you have to do this. If you want to see a country decline, vote Democrat. If you want to see the American dream that we all dreamed about, including Uncle Sam, who's sitting right. Stand up, Uncle Sam. If you want to see that beautiful American dream that we all dreamt about, we dreamt about it more than anything, then you know what you do. If you want to see that decline, if you want to see that get the hell knocked out of it, that's what's happening right now. Vote Democrat. But if you want to see great things for our country and the real American dream, and we're bringing it back, you're going to vote Republican up and down the line. And as bad as things are today, if the radical Democrats keep their grip on the House and the Senate, your finances, your family, your community, and your country will never be able to recover. We're at a tipping point. This is right now a tipping point. And if we don't get it right, got to get out there, November 8th, got to get out there. And best to vote on Election Day. It's much harder for them to cheat that way. It's best to vote. Just storm the place. Catherine Cortez Masto and the Democrat extremists will flood the country with tens of millions more illegal aliens, what they're doing to this country. They have no idea where they're from, who they are, anything about it. 129 different countries, people representing them poured into our country last month. 129. Most people didn't know we had so many countries. Think of it. They ram through mass amnesty and give illegal aliens welfare, free health care, and the right to vote, far more than we give our military vets and far more than we give to our very own citizens. They're getting more than our citizens are getting, and now many of them get to stay in luxury hotels. Isn't that nice? They will abolish the filibuster, pack the Supreme Court, put left-wing federal bureaucrats in charge of corrupting every election, gut the military. They want to destroy our veterans, loot the Treasury, mutilate our children with gender insanity, and turn America into a third world country. That's what they want. On November 8th, Nevada can reject the miserable fate for America, and it would be more miserable. By the way, how are your 401ks doing? Not so good, Uncle Sam. Not so good. They're down 50 and 60%. But we have to deliver a clean sweep. Every statewide office for the Republican Party, state, federal, local, everybody, Republicans, you can prove once and for all that the silver state is truly a red state. Okay? If we do not defeat the radical Democrats in this election, the maniacs will be totally out of control. They are sick people, and no one will be able to stop them. Before our very eyes, Biden and his left-wing handlers are turning America into a police state. Think of what's happening. Look at what's going on. After ignoring violent attacks on pro-life clinics, the Biden administration is rounding up pro-life activists all over the country. First, they arrested the minister that you all read about. Then this week, they arrested grandparents with guns drawn, many agents storming into their little houses, putting them in jail and protesting. These people went out and beautifully, silently protested. And they're in jail now. They were protesting outside of abortion clinics, charging them with crimes punishable by up to 11 years in prison. In many cases, they're grandparents, they're elderly people, and they're doing this to look at peaceful patriots. Think of it. These are peaceful patriots. You can agree with them. You don't have to agree. They want to put them in jail for 11 years for doing what they have the absolute right to do. The Democrats are locking up their political opponents, spying on their political rivals, silencing dissent, and using the full force of government, law enforcement, and the media, the fake media, all of those people right there, to try and crush our movement. Every freedom-loving American needs to understand the time to stand up to this growing tyranny is right now. In this election, we have to do it. We don't have the luxury of waiting. The only way evil will triumph is for good men and women to do nothing. That's how they triumph. We do nothing. If we do nothing, they triumph. We no longer have that luxury. So no matter what these left-wing radicals try next, no matter what they do to us, we have to keep on going, and we have to keep on fighting, because we are on a mission to restore our nation to greatness. We can do that. We can do that. For 6 straight years, the witch hunts, hoaxes, and abuses have been coming at us fast and furious. They come at all of us. First, we learned they spied on my campaign. Think of it. Can you imagine? Let's take Barack Hussein Obama. Could you imagine if we spied on his campaign? They would reinstitute the death penalty, okay? That's what they'd be doing. Then they lied to Congress. So they spied on the campaign. I just can't get over it every time I say it. And they get protected in Washington. They're like a protected species. Then they lied to the FISA court. They lied up and down to the FISA court many times and created a fake dossier. It turned out to be totally fake. that was done and paid for by crooked Hillary Clinton and the Democrat National Committee. And now it's admitted to have been fake. Then these same people, they come after me. Think of it. They spy on my campaign. They lie to Congress. They lie to the FISA court, all up and down the line. Lies, all proven now. They even admit it. And then they come after us. Remember, it was Russia, Russia, Russia. Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine. And then the Mueller witch hunt, where the conclusion was no collusion. You think Biden could say that? Conclusion was no collusion. He'd be up here all night trying to get that one out. And then you had impeachment hoax #1. You remember that? The perfect phone call. Perfect. And then you have impeachment hoax #2. And then the censorship of the Biden family corruption story by the FBI to Facebook and the media as Russian disinformation, which they knew wasn't true. It was a lie. Think of that one. Don't put it on at all. This is Russian disinformation. And that made, they say, up to a 17-point difference in the polls. Think of it. If that word got out before the election, so they told them, don't let it get out. Those people played part of it. And they're just as guilty as Justice and the FBI, the fake news media. They really are. They're just as guilty because they knew it was a scam. And now we have the sham unselect committee of political hacks and thugs. Now it's also the appalling misconduct by the racist and incompetent New York State Attorney General. She's grossly incompetent and a total racist who doesn't care about record numbers of murders that are taking place in New York, rapes, drug deals, and every other form of crime, but only spends her time in getting elected. Let's go after Trump. That's good for the polls. I don't even think it is good because she's actually down in the polls. She's losing. Let's see what happens. Also, a left-wing DA, young woman in Atlanta, who's looking into an absolutely secondary, it was perfect also. I call it the secondary perfect call because the first one with the president of, you saw that one, Ukraine, and he was very honorable, Zelensky. They said, how was the call? Did you feel intimidated? No, he made a perfect call. He thanked me. He congratulated me for getting elected. He didn't do anything wrong, so I remember that. But we made perhaps an even more perfect call to the Secretary of State of Georgia, which is my right. And in fact, the call was so perfect that the many lawyers, we had like 7 or 8 lawyers on the call on both sides, and other people on the call never expressed even the slightest bit of anger or outrage at what I said. They didn't say, that's horrible. That's a horrible thing you said. We must hang up immediately because we cannot understand that. We had many people on the call. I assume the call was taped. And I guess there were 6, 7, or 8 lawyers on the call. There was no protest. There was no one saying, how dare you say such a thing? You know why? Because it was a perfect call. It was only long after that that the subject was broached. Months later, they said, oh, he made a call. Very fortunately, it was on tape. If there were a problem, they would have, you know what? They would have gone absolutely crazy. They would have gone absolutely crazy, and they would have come after me. But the phone was hung up, and everybody was happy. In fact, they agreed to meet. Let's meet again soon. Because all we were doing was protesting a fake and dirty and rigged election. That's all we were doing. But instead, we continued talking, and there was only criticism. And it came up months afterwards, the Washington Post, and I want to thank you very much, Washington Post, because, believe it or not, I give them credit. They actually apologized on the front page for their misrepresentation of the call. And all of these local cases, think of it, the Washington Post, let's give them a hand, right? All we want is fairness. But they apologize for the misrepresentations that were made to them by some people that perhaps you would say were on the Democrat side, and they did that, and I appreciated that. All of these local cases are in coordination with Washington, D.C., in my opinion. We have a weaponized Department of Justice and FBI on everything, including of the course of, I mean, think of this. How about including the break-in of my home concerning the so-called document hoax case? This is a new hoax, the document hoax. Just look at how every other president has been treated when they left office. Very interesting. They've been given all the time, these are other presidents, all the time needed, because you're supposed to have as much time as you need, and complete deference when it came to their documents and their papers. Take as much as you need. Barack Hussein Obama moved more than 20 truckloads, over 33 million pages of documents, both classified and unclassified, to a poorly built and totally unsafe former furniture store located in a rather bad neighborhood in Chicago, with no security, by the way. George W. Bush stored 68 million pages in a warehouse in Texas and lost 22 million White House emails. He lost 22 million emails. Can you imagine if I lost 2 emails? They'd say, this is terrible. It must have been nuclear in those 2. Covering the Iraq invasion. He didn't want to hear about the Iraq invasion. It was one of the worst decisions ever made, and he lost 22 million. Can you believe that? We're talking about million pages, and they're coming after me. But they're still looking for them. They're still looking for those pages. Bill Clinton took millions of documents from the White House to a former car dealership in Arkansas. We love Arkansas, I can tell you. We won Arkansas both times also. And kept classified recordings in his sock drawer. In fact, he supposedly put the information from the White House into his socks and left the White House with the information. So we call it the sock case. If I did that, there'd be major trouble. And NARA, you know about NARA? The National Archives and Records Administration lost, I put that in quotes, an entire hard drive full of information from the Clinton White House. They lost it, they can't find it. But almost as bad, crooked Hillary deleted 33,000 emails under congressional subpoena. She acid washed them, although I do believe they're in the State Department, because it's very hard to get rid of them. But they acid wash, very expensive process. That's why nobody does it. And then pounded her phones with hammers, making them totally unrecognizable to the naked eye. So she took those phones and she pounded the hell out of them. Meanwhile, George H.W. Bush took millions of documents to a former bowling alley and a former Chinese restaurant where they combined them, so they're in a bowling alley / Chinese restaurant. By contrast, I had a small number of boxes in storage at Mar-a-Lago, very small, relatively, guarded by the great Secret Service. We love Secret Service. And the FBI, with many, many people, raided my house. It's in violation, by the way, of the Fourth Amendment and many other things also. The radical left thinks by doing all these sinister and venomous things, they're making us weaker, but actually, they are making us stronger and much more unified than ever before. I really believe that. I believe that. What do you think? Yes? Yes, Mike? When will they investigate and prosecute Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, George Bush, and look into what took place with George Bush's father, a very nice man, and the warehouse of documents? And what about Barack Hussein Obama? Are they under potential prosecution? I don't think so. I don't think they are. A Chinese restaurant and a bowling alley with no security and a broken front door. No, I don't think so. Under the Sox decision, No, they actually call it the Sox decision, having to do with Bill Clinton. There is no crime. Same thing as what we have, except his was much more egregious. Ours was nothing. There is no crime, and they should give me back everything that they've taken. Under the Sox agreement, I'm allowed to keep what I want. It's personal. It's personal. Likewise, under the Presidential Records Act, everything should come back, and there is no crime. You negotiate. Whatever you negotiate is fine. It's a process. But they make it sound like the greatest crime in America was committed, and we've got all these warehouses that are just falling down buildings, essentially, loaded up with millions and millions of pages of previous presidents, and nothing was ever said about it. This is a two-tier system of justice, and it's got to stop, because the people in this country are angry and they're sick of it. We want to make America great again and stop this nonsense. And somebody asked me today, when are they going to prosecute NARA for losing the nuclear codes? Can you believe it? They lost. Not mine, others. NARA put a trigger warning. It's called a trigger warning on, listen to this. This is a radical left group. Radical left. Who wants to trust this group? But this is a radical left group of people, trigger warning. So they put a trigger warning on a thing called the Constitution of the United States of America and the Bill of Rights and our other great documents, considering them to be dangerous. So they consider the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and others to be dangerous, so they have a warning there. These are radical left lunatics. They lose documents, they plant documents. You know what that is? Let's throw a couple of nice documents in there. Oh, Trump, remember they pulled the nuclear thing. Well, supposing he's got, and here they are, they're losing the nuclear codes. But who wants to be with these people? They're really against the Constitution of the United States of America. We're safer in a Chinese restaurant connected to a bowling alley in many ways, in my opinion. Many powerful people, influential people tell me, and they come up to me, they say it all the time. I just had it today. They said, are you suing them, the government and the prosecutors, for prosecutorial misconduct and for your own civil rights? Who the hell wants to live a life like you've got? I said, I do, because I want to help the American people. But they've been doing this to me for years. Ever since I came down the so-called golden escalator in Trump Tower, remember that? Our future First Lady. No other president has ever been treated like that, and that's because we've done such a great job. They don't want to see it again. Do you ever know, and do you ever watch, we want to run against Trump. Oh, we want to run against Trump, Trump, Trump. But all they do is fight to try and make sure that I can't run, because they don't want to run against me. We're leading in every single poll. Republicans were leading by 50 points, 60 points, 48 points, 44 points. And the Democrats, Uncle Sam just shouted, you got this, sir. We love Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam, would you please stand up, okay? Do it properly. Look at him. They want to cancel Uncle Sam, I think. They'll never do that to you, Uncle Sam. And I have no idea who this guy is, but I like him a lot. That I can tell you. But none of these people have been prosecuted or persecuted. And what they've done to your president, and to a president that honestly, and an administration that did an incredible job with the tax cuts and rebuilding our military. and knocking out 100% of ISIS and all of the things we've done, biggest regulation cuts in history. Think of it, we've rebuilt the military, even right to try, where you can try drugs that wouldn't be available for many, many years if you're terminally ill. They've been trying to get that for 52 years. We got it. We got a lot of things. Got 1,000 different things. Now they're leaking that they may actually be charging Hunter Biden with very minor charges relative to the crimes that he apparently committed. And look, we don't want bad stuff to happen, but they're leaking that couple of minor charges relatively compared to the kind of charges that they could be. And that's up to them. But are they actually going to do the right thing and hold the Bidens accountable? Or is this just a charade and an excuse to continue targeting me and our movement of Make America Great Again and America First? I don't know. I think they're doing this for a little reason. I think they want to target us, and they make it look a little bit more fair when they throw out a couple of charges about Hunter. Now, you know what's happening. It's a disgrace what's happening in this country. And it is prosecutorial misconduct, and the people in this country aren't going to take it. Remember this. They've come after me now for 6 years. A friend of mine who's a very successful guy said, you have to be the most honest guy in the world. My son, who runs the company, Eric Trump, he's probably in the history of the world, he's probably the most subpoenaed person from Congress every week, every day, every month, we got to a point where we just stack them up. But there's never been anything like it. It's a disgrace. You know, instead of focusing on our country and focusing on all the problems ahead and focusing on all the potential that we have as a country, all they do is keep investigating and investigating the Russia hoax. And it seems to be always turning around, doesn't it, where they created the Russia hoax, and they were the ones that dealt with Russia in order to create the fake document, the fake dossier, and all of the things that they've done, the crimes that they've committed. It's a disgrace. But it's crystal clear that they're coming after me because I fight for you and I fight for America, and they're not used to that because they don't want people fighting for America. And because we are leading big in all the polls and winning all across the country, both against Republicans, which, you know, I'm proud to do, and Democrats, which I'm even more proud to do, but we're winning against everybody. Never before in American history has our country seen such corruption and abuse of power as we are witnessing right now. Right now, the radical left is no longer about socialism. It's not anymore. It's about communism. They've stepped over socialism. They've forgotten about the word socialism, and that's where our country is headed. And I predicted this a long time ago. I saw what was happening. I predicted a lot of things. You ever see the hat? Trump was right about everything. Look what happened with Russia. Should have never happened, what's going on with Ukraine and Russia. If the Democrats win, the communists win, and soon they will send their thugs, their criminals, their angry left-wing prosecutors, and the 87,000 new IRS agents that are allowed to carry guns, by the way. You know, they're all anti-gun, right? But the prosecutors, these agents are allowed to carry. Think of that. They want to stop you from having a gun, but those 87,000 people are allowed to carry guns. They want to walk in and come after you. If Republicans win, the communists lose, the globalists lose, the deep state bureaucrats lose, the Silicon Valley censors lose, the corrupt fake news lose, the media bosses lose, and the rhinos lose. The rhinos are no good. But America wins, and America wins very big. That's right, the rhinos. In many ways, they're worse than the Democrats, the radical lefts, because you don't know really where they're coming from, but now we do. We know almost all of them, don't we? This election is your chance to send a strong message to all of the arrogant, and these are very arrogant people, left-wing radicals who want to dictate what you can say, what you can think, and how you should live your life. I don't think so. With your vote, you can humiliate Joe Biden, although he's pretty much been humiliated already, and the corrupt Democrat machine, and you can declare that America will always remain a free, and maybe we could say free and fair country. You could take the 5 worst presidents in American history and put them together, and they would not have done the damage Joe Biden has done to our nation in less than 2 short years. Look at what is happening to our country. Look at their energy policies. Look at everybody has to have an electric car, and we don't have electricity to turn on an air conditioner now in California. They write a letter, please don't use your air conditioning. And then they want to send millions and millions of cars onto a grid that's broken. And yet we have that beautiful liquid gold right under our feet. They don't want to use it, but they'll take it from places like Venezuela. And it's very dirty, very thick, very ugly. And the only place that can refine it is here. So we refine their dirty stuff here. And he thinks he's helping us. Ay, ay, ay. When Biden hears me speak, he knows he can't fight back in any other way than to try and get me through these prosecutors that were. That's the only way he can maybe get me. I don't think they can. First of all, we did nothing wrong. It helps when you've done nothing wrong after 6 years. Remember all the things? We want to get this paper. We want to get that. We want to get all this stuff. And you know what it's proved? It's proof that I'm really wealthy. I have very little debt. I have a lot of cash, and I built a great company. That's what it proved. Very great company. Much, much greater than anyone knows. You'll be seeing that. You'll be seeing that. He can't speak clearly. He can't think clearly. So he tells law enforcement, you got to do something about this guy. He's killing me. So we had just a little quick video made up. Would you like to see it?
How would you say your mental focus is?
Oh, it's focused. I haven't. Look.
Let's get ready to bumble!
I think it's a right for people to have bad health care. True international average of pressure. God, I can't believe I said that. America is a nation that can be defined in a single word.
Y'all ready for this?
I was going to put him in And Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys. Wait. All men and women created by the go. You know the thing. If it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to. Anyway. We went for 2 reasons. One, to come on, man. The guy who runs that outfit over there. I've had a couple Washingtons. But the nature, not Representative Jackie, are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here.
Y'all ready for this?
What am I doing here? Tucker. Yeah. I got hairy legs that turn, that. Thank you for your tolerance, for listening to me. I appreciate it very much. What?
You know, the leaders of the world, I got to know them very well, know them all very well. These people are at the top of their game. They're sharp, they're smart. Press always gets angry if I say some dictator someplace, some head of a communist party is sharp and smart. They say, oh, he said President Xi of China. He leads 1.5 billion people very strongly, very ruthlessly. He said he was smart. Yeah, he's smart. They make it like, oh, I shouldn't say that. No, he's smart. They're all smart. And when they deal with our people, I'm being nice when I say that, our people, meaning our leader and others, they can't believe what's happening. They cannot believe this has happened to the United States. And I'll tell you what, be very careful. You could end up in a third world war because we're handling it so badly. Under my leadership, we had for the first time American energy independence and even energy dominance. Now Biden is begging and pleading with OPEC, but instead of increasing production, they're cutting production. Who else would do that? Think of it. They're cutting production. We gave you the largest tax cuts and regulation cuts in American history. On the other hand, the radical left Democrat Congress has passed one of the largest tax hikes in American history, but they were still unable to pass legislation which affected the great tax cuts that we got you. Biggest tax cuts, bigger than the Reagan tax cuts. Under the Trump administration, we had the greatest economy in the history of the world with no inflation and low energy costs. Biden and the Democrat Congress created the worst inflation in 50 years, 9.1%, and it's going up. It's going to go up very substantially. And the worst 2 years of a presidency in history. Worst 2 years, nobody's ever had anything like it. I rebuilt our military, including our nuclear capability and the creation of Space Force. They surrendered our strength and turned Afghanistan into the greatest humiliation our country has ever had. And, you know, we were getting out of Afghanistan. After 21 years, I said, let's get the hell out of there. But we were keeping Bagram, very important, the big military base. And they left Bagram, too. They gave it to the Chinese. It was 1 hour away from where they make their nuclear weapons. And Rick Grinnell is here. He will tell you all about that. Rick Grinnell, the great Rick Grinnell. He can't believe it. They gave up Bagram 1 hour away. Of course, billions and billions of dollars many years ago, and they gave it away in Afghanistan. We didn't need it for Afghanistan. We needed it for China. But they fled in the dark of night, left the lights on, left the dogs behind, by the way, for those of you that like dogs. And now we have a war between Russia and Ukraine with potentially hundreds of thousands of people dying. We must demand the immediate negotiation of a peaceful end to the war in Ukraine, or we will end up in World War III, and there will be nothing left of our planet, all because stupid people didn't have a clue. They didn't have a clue. They really don't understand. I rebuilt our military. I rebuilt our nuclear power. They don't understand what they're dealing with, the power of nuclear. They have no idea what they're doing. I withdrew from the disastrous Iran nuclear deal, and as we speak, the people of Iran are bravely protesting against their corrupt and brutal regime, courageously facing down violence, persecution, jail, torture, and even death. We are with you, and we always will be with you. 2 years ago, we had the strongest southern border in the history of our country. Now we have the worst border, in my opinion, in the history of any country, anytime, anywhere in the world. There's no third world country that would allow millions of people to pour into their country. Even if they had to use sticks and stones to keep them out, they would do it. They wouldn't let this happen to what's happening. And I say the number is much closer to 10 or 12 million people coming in, not 3 that you keep hearing about. They're pouring in. Nobody has any idea who they are, where they come from. Under my leadership, we ended catch and release. We cracked down on fraudulent asylum seekers and visa overstays. We dropped illegal alien gang members. What we did, we brought them back by the thousands to their country. We built hundreds and hundreds of miles of border wall despite 2.5 years of endless Democrat-inspired lawsuits to stop it. Over 11 lawsuits, I won them all. We completely finished our original plan on the wall, and then we said, let's do more because it worked so well, and almost got that finished too. And in 3 weeks, they could have finished it, and they decided, no, we don't want to build a wall. And I said, that's when I really learned something was happening, something very bad was happening for our country. In short, the election was rigged and stolen, and our country is being destroyed because of the decisions being made in so many ways. I ran twice, I won twice, and did much better the second time than I did the first, getting millions more votes in 2020 than we got in 2016. And likewise getting more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country, by far, more votes than any sitting president by many, many millions of votes. And now we may have to do it again. You'll be finding out soon. Country is going to hell. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I want you to be happy and wealthy and well, and I want your country to be like it was 2 years ago, even despite that horrible China virus coming in. What we did, we really rebuilt it twice. The first time, the day prior, I had a meeting with a pollster. He said, sir, if Abraham Lincoln and George Washington teamed up to run against you as president and vice president of the United States, you'd beat them in a landslide. But then what happened is the China virus poured in, and we did an incredible job with Operation Warp Speed and all of the things we did. Incredible job. And we rebuilt it again, and the stock market was actually higher when we made the change. It was higher than it was prior to COVID coming in. It was higher. Think of that. And it was much higher than it is right now, sadly, for all of the people out there that are getting absolutely slammed by the stocks that they used to proudly own. But first, we have to win a historic victory for the Republican Party this November, coming up very soon. Job number one is for a Republican Congress to stop the invasion, that's what it is, of our southern border. This is an invasion. This is not people coming. This is an invasion of our country. This is like a military invasion, and probably worse, because with a military invasion, we can fight back. With this invasion, nobody fights back. Please come in. Please come in, they say. Just last week, a convicted illegal alien murderer who blew up a man with a bomb in the parking garage of the Luxor Hotel escaped from state prison and went on a rampage in your state. You know that. You read about that. And only days ago, another sadistic murderer went on a heinous stabbing spree on the Las Vegas Strip, killing 2 and savagely wounding 6 others at random, just randomly killing people. You know about that. You read about it 2 days ago. You know where it took place. Killing 2 people and savagely hurting numerous other people. The perpetrator was an illegal alien with a criminal record a mile long in California. But the bloodthirsty killer was unknown to law enforcement because of California's barbaric sanctuary city policies. The radical Democrats want to turn America into one giant sanctuary for dangerous criminal aliens. In the Republican Party, we believe our country should be a sanctuary for law-abiding citizens who love our nation. If we are going to make America great again, we have to make America safe again. It's the only way. You can't walk down a street in a Democrat-run city without being shot or mugged or knifed. Under Steve Sisolak, your crime-loving governor, and the radical left Democrats, The streets of our once great cities are drenched in the blood of innocent victims. That's what's happening in all of these Democrat-run cities, and I would say just about all of them. Much of the crime wave is caused by drug dealers who, during the course of their lives, will kill an average of 500 American citizens. I am calling for the death penalty for drug dealers and human traffickers, which will, upon its passage, it will reduce drug distribution and crime by, in my opinion, more than 75% on the first day. No more blue ribbon committees headed up by very nice people. They're dealing with rough people. These cartels, they're making more money than major corporations on the New York Stock Exchange. With a Republican Congress, we should also pass critical funding to hire thousands and thousands more police officers nationwide, to put violent criminals behind bars and keep them behind bars. We need to leave our police alone and let them do their job. The first step to restoring public safety is defeating the radical Democrats this November, and that starts with the ousting Steve Sisolak in a landslide. And I think that's going to happen. As your governor, Sisolak, sided with the Marxists to fund the police radicals, flinging open the jailhouse doors and letting the inmates loose to prey on innocent people from your great state. Sisolak signed a bill to ban police from arresting criminals. Can you believe that? You will not arrest criminals. That's your governor. Lots of luck. He let burglars and career criminals avoid jail time, no problem. He gutted your state's bail requirements. He tied the hands and parole. He tied the hands of your great parole office is not an easy job, and your probation office is not an easy job. And he slashed legal protections for police officers, fueling a deadly wave of bloodshed and violent crime. He is a disaster. He's as bad as the Attorney General of New York State, who you just got to witness, Letitia Peekaboo James. They call her Alicia Peekaboo James, who, as discussed, has done much of the same that he has. She's weak as hell on crime, and it's killing New York State. During the China virus, Sisolak was one of the most heartless and vindictive governors in the entire nation, cruelly shutting down your schools and businesses, imposing unscientific mask mandates which absolutely crushed your economy. I know it very well. I have a little properties in Las Vegas, you know that. I hope you all stay there and enjoy your evening. But he crushed your economy. Steve Sisolak has devastated Nevada, and this November, Nevada is going to throw Steve Sisolak the hell out of office. Your next governor, somebody I know and like, I've known him for a long time. He's a tough cookie and good, really good. Joe Lombardo has been an incredibly smart, strong sheriff, a leader of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. He's been a real leader for a long time, and under his leadership, Las Vegas successfully contained the left-wing riots of 2020. They didn't go through too much of a problem here compared to a lot of Democrat-run places, preventing the city from being sacked and looted with no help whatsoever from Sisolak. Joe is tough on crime. He's strong on border security and election integrity. He will protect your Second Amendment, and he will get left-wing radicalism out of your children's schools. Very important. Joe, come on up. Say a few words, Joe.
Well, a round of applause for President Trump. So it's amazing the accuracy of his words. The accuracy of his words, and it all matters because he described the situation that our country is in and our state is in. And with his help and all of your help, we're going to be successful in turning it completely around, right? So I want to personally thank President Trump. Thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for helping us in what we're trying to achieve in the great state of Nevada. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Joe. Oh, you go ahead down. Thanks. Thanks, Joe. Going to do a great job as governor. This November, you also need to get out and vote to defeat your embarrassment of a radical left senator, Catherine Cortez Masto, who is respected by no one. Nobody listens to her in Washington. For the past 2 years, Catherine Cortez Masto has been the deciding 50th vote to rubber stamp every nation-wrecking bill Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and crying Chuck Schumer have rammed through Congress. Cortez Masto has one of the most atrocious voting records in the entire U.S. Senate. She voted against funding for more border agents and to stop illegal aliens from coming into our country. Oh, that's a nice vote. She also voted to double the number of IRS agents carry guns, to harass American taxpayers, because that's what they're going to do. They're going to harass you, especially if they find out that you're a Republican or a conservative. She voted in favor of deadly sanctuary cities and against prioritizing the arrest of illegal aliens who committed violent crimes. She doesn't want them arrested. Let them go out and do some more violent crimes. She voted to shut down American energy production, shut down the Keystone XL pipeline, which I approved on day one. And she supported raising the federal gas tax by a lot. She voted to let men compete in women's sports where they are breaking records by a lot. Oh, the weightlifting record, oh, that was broken by many, 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 many pounds. The swimming records that they wanted to break by 1/100th of a second are being broken by minutes. It's terrible and honestly very demeaning for women. Very, very demeaning. So ridiculous. Men competing in women's sports. So ridiculous. And she voted to use taxpayer dollars to push critical race theory on pre-K and elementary students. And Cortez Masto, in finishing, is a radical abortionist who voted to allow taxpayer-funded extreme late-term abortion, 9th month and beyond, right up until that moment of birth, even in the 40th week and even beyond birth. Remember the governor of Virginia, the former governor of Virginia, Democrat? He said the baby is born, you put the baby aside, and then you determine whether or not you want the baby killed. That's where they're coming from. They are radical like nobody's ever seen. Instead of simply bringing it back to the states, I personally prefer the 3 exceptions. A lot of people prefer the exceptions, but it's up to the state, and everybody's wanted that to happen. By contrast, Adam Laxalt is a true champion for the people of Nevada. He's a friend of mine. He's the only parent in this race, a father of 4 great, great people. And he's the only veteran in this race, and he is a veteran. He's done an incredible job for your state. You know that. Adam is proudly endorsed by virtually every police and law enforcement group in the entire state, including ones that previously backed Cortez Masto. They used to back her because they had no alternative, but they dumped her so fast because she's proven to be very weak on a thing called law and order, which they don't even want to use the term. Adam was an outstanding attorney general for your state. He fought by my side to stop deadly sanctuary cities. He took aggressive action against opioid manufacturers and distributors. He delivered justice for rape victims whose plight Cortez Masto had callously ignored. You know that. You've been reading about it. And he went to war against the human traffickers, securing the first human trafficking conviction from his office in Nevada history. I'd like to ask Adam to come up and say a few words. Adam Laxalt. Great, Adam.
Yes, sir. Let's shave it. All right, how we doing, everybody? What a beautiful night in Minden. Well, thank you, Mr. President, for being there, supporting me from day one of this 13-month race to flip Nevada and fire Catherine Cortez Masto. And thank you for coming to campaign here in Nevada with us. I'll tell you who is not coming to campaign right now with Catherine Cortez Masto, and that's 38% Joe. You know who else isn't coming to campaign? Our border czar, Kamala Harris. I could tell you what, we are at 16% inflation in this state. We have almost $6 gas. 70% of Nevadans think we're on the wrong track. 37% of Nevadans approve of the job Joe Biden is doing. Let me ask you something. Do we miss the Trump economy right now? Do we miss Trump gas? Do we miss Trump national security? Folks, we only have one shot to save this state and save America. Let's go out and get it done. Get out and vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Adam. So Joe and Adam, get out there and just work real hard for a few weeks, and you're going to have an entirely different state, and we're going to have an entirely different country. Also with us is your next lieutenant governor, a fantastic guy. Where is Stavros? Stavros, where is he? Stavros Anthony. Stavros. There he is. I was worried about him. And he's going to be great. Your next Secretary of State, Jim Marchant. Jim, where's Jim? Come up here for a second, Jim. This guy is so tough. Come on, Jim. I wasn't going to do this. You got to say something real fast. Come on. Come on, Jim. You got to get this guy elected. He's tough. Come on, say
Thank you,
something.
President Trump. Is this the greatest president in American history or not? So, we have something in common. President Trump and I lost an election in 2020 because of a rigged election. I've been working since November 4th, 2020 to expose what happened. And what I found out is horrifying. And when I'm Secretary of State of Nevada, we're going to fix it. And when my coalition of Secretary of State candidates around the country get elected, we're going to fix the whole country. And President Trump is going to be president again in 2024.
And you are really, you better get him, man. You need him so badly. Your next Attorney General, Sigal Shatta. Sigal, do you want to come up for a second? Come, hurry up. Come on, Sigal. We got to get you elected. We got to get you elected. Come on. All right, go ahead. Give it a shot.
Thank you, Mr. President. He's coming back. You guys know that, right? Do you want him back? How bad do you want him back? $3 a gallon? That's right. Mr. President, thank you so much. Thank you for coming and visiting us. And thank you for helping me make Nevada turn red again. Let's do this.
Good job. Thank you very much. Your next state treasurer, Michelle Fiore. Michelle, good, go get him. I hear you're so high up in the polls, Michelle. And your next state controller, Andy Matthews. Andy, where's Andy? Thank you, Andy. Great job you're doing. A friend of mine, a warrior, somebody that worked so hard, Congressman Mark Amoti. Mark, thank you. Come on, stand up, Mark. Great job you're doing, Mark. Thank you for the help. And your nominee for Nevada's 4th Congressional District, Sam Peters. Sam, I hear you're doing good, Sam. I hear you're doing very good. Thanks, Sam. Good luck. Here as well as Senator, oh, this guy. He's our great football coach. You know who I'm talking about. So I said, look, Tommy, you're running for Senator of Alabama. I love Alabama. What did I win that by? 45 points, I think, Tommy. And I took Tommy over a lot of other people. I thought he was great. But then I found out he beat Alabama in football 6 times in a row. I said, could I ask you a question? Could I ask you, Tommy, how the hell do you run for senator from Alabama when you beat their great team 6 times in a row? He said, well, I was the reason that they got Nick Saban. I said, that's a great line. You don't know who Nick Saban. He's the coach of the team, and he has done very well. But Tommy was a great football coach. He's been a great senator. He's a very good golfer, too, by the way. I played a round of golf with him. He's very proficient, I will tell you. But he's a fantastic man. I'm going to ask him, Tommy, are you here? Where's Tommy? Tommy. Oh, he's back there. Forget it, Tommy. Just sit, please. Too far. But we love Tommy Tuberville. He's been a great senator, and he's a friend of your state, I will tell you. Senator from Alabama, Tommy Tuberville. Another one who people love, I noticed I mentioned him briefly for a second. Everyone started applauding. He had more courage than anybody you can imagine. Rick Grinnell, ambassador. He was the ambassador to Germany, and I can tell you, Angela Merkel was so happy when I brought him into intelligence. She said, oh, he's just killing us. You know, he didn't want Germany to take advantage of our country. But he also got along with them very well. They liked him. It was a love-hate, wouldn't you say? I think so, Rick. But they were quite happy. Another warrior is a man who's smart and loves our country very much, Kash Patel. Kash Patel. And he's got a very big, like, #1 best-selling book. Congratulations. I just heard about that. I'm proud of you, Kash. Those are 2 great guys. And the single greatest purchaser of advertising, perhaps, in the history of our country, Mike Lindell. He takes more ads, I tell you. I hear that voice more than I think any voice, perhaps, that I've ever dealt with. The greatest purchaser, I don't know what the hell he pays for those ads, but he's doing something, because I can't believe there's that much money in pillows. I just can't. But he's a great guy, he's a great patriot, and he loves you and he loves our country, that I can tell you. Clark County GOP Chair, Jesse Law. Jesse, thank you, Jesse, great job. And Nevada Republican Party Chairman, somebody that works so hard, Michael McDonald, the longest-serving chairman in the whole country. And I want to thank Michael and the Nevada Republican Central Committee for all of the incredible things they've done, and also to make sure everybody could be here tonight, because you had a lot of meetings you had to turn around, and they're all here. And we thank you very much. Where's Michael? Where are you? Stand up, Michael. Thank you, Mike. Good job. One of the first things we will do when we win this November is to stand up for parents' rights. We will get critical race theory out of our schools, out of our military, which I had out of our military, and out of every part of our federal, state, and local governments. It's bad. And at long last, every parent in America must be empowered to opt out of the forced indoctrination in the classroom and send their child to the public, private charter, religious, or home school of their choice. No teacher, remember this, should ever be allowed to teach transgender to our children without parental consent. Can you believe I'm even saying that? I'm saying parental consent like it's a big deal. Of course you have to have parental consent. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you'd never even think We now need parental consent. We have to fight for parental consent. Can you believe we even have to talk about this? We will never stop fighting for the American family. Another one of our highest priorities under a Republican Congress will be to stop left-wing censorship and to restore free speech in America. That's what we're going to do. Go out and sign up today, right now. Truth Social, it's doing great. It's hot. It's much better than Twitter, with, in my opinion, much better engagement. Truth is, we're so lucky to have it. And everywhere the Republican Party has a chance, we must pass critical election integrity reforms, including universal voter ID. They don't want voter ID. I wonder why they don't want, Uncle Sam, I wonder why they don't want voter ID. I just can't imagine. Perhaps it's because they want to cheat. Citizenship confirmation. They don't want to have anybody confirm that they're a citizen. I wonder why that is. No more fake drop boxes, no private money pouring into local elections. I think Joe is listening to this and Adam is listening to this. And ultimately, we need same-day voting with only paper ballots. It's very simple. All right? Same-day voting. Mike? We're just 31 days from the most important midterm election in American history, and we need a landslide so big that the radical left cannot rig it or cannot steal it. Early voting begins October 22nd, but far better than voting by mail-in ballot, far better. If you have no choice, do it, but go to the booth, go on Election Day and vote in person on Election Day. It makes it much harder for them to cheat. These are cheaters. They're cheating dogs, and it makes them much harder. This is a much harder process for them to cheat. I think we can say that. Is that right? That's right. Mike says it's right, and I agree. Because they don't know what's going on. They don't know the numbers. You know, it's a fake rigged system, what we have going. Whatever you do, get your friends, get your family, and get out and vote. And if you care about election integrity, volunteer as an election worker, poll watcher, or poll challenger. That's what happened in 2020. They threw a lot of our poll watchers out. They had thugs throwing them out of poll watching areas, thugs throwing them out in many areas. This is the year we're going to take back the House. We're going to take back the Senate. We're going to take back America. And in 2024, most importantly, we are going to take back our magnificent, beautiful, incredible White House. Together, we will fight for more jobs for Nevada families, fair trade for Nevada workers, and more Nevada factories forging more products, stamped with that beautiful phrase, made in the USA. We will shut down Biden's border disaster, reinstitute our strong Remain in Mexico. Did you like Remain in Mexico? You think that was easy to get? I said, if you don't give us that, we're going to just tariff all your cars and everything you send in. They said, we'd be honored to give it to you, sir. We're going to strengthen the patriots of ICE and Border Patrol, who are fantastic people. Fantastic people. You know Tom Homan, he's great. So many of those guys. My friend, head of Border Patrol, where the hell is he? Is he here someplace? The head of Border Patrol is here. Where are they? There's some. Who are the Border Patrol guys? Anyway, thank you all for being here. What a group of people and what great leaderships. What great leadership we have. A lot of Border Patrol people are here. They're all over the place. We love them all. They're great patriots. And the people from ICE, these guys are tough. You know, I have a lot of tough people sitting in the front row. They don't want any part of that job. They run into packs of lunatics and thugs, MS-13 killers with their knives. They want to knife people instead of shooting them because it's slower and it's more painful. And these ICE people and the Border Patrol people, but they go in and they get them out. We get them out of our country by the thousands when I was there. Now you're allowed to stay. Anybody's allowed to stay. We have no policy. We have a corrupt administration. We have no policy. We will again end catch and release. We will end chain migration. All things we did so well. All they had to do is leave it alone. We had the greatest border in our history. We will end the visa lottery, and we will clamp down on illegal immigration, just like we did less than 2 years ago. Can you believe where we've come in 2 years? Our country is going to hell. We will stop the crime wave in Democrat-run cities. We will give our police the power they need and the respect they deserve. And we will not take legal protection away from our police. They want our police to go out and hire lawyers in case somebody sues them. No, we're going to protect our police. We will restore law and order in America, and quickly. And we will hold China accountable for unleashing the virus upon the world. We will defend our Constitution, we will defend our Second Amendment, and we will proudly uphold the Judeo-Christian values and principles of our nation's founding. And we will restore patriotic education to our schools. We will teach our children to love their country, honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. And I'm just thinking as I'm saying these words, this just sounds like an old-fashioned from 50 years ago type rally, except we have a lot more people than they ever had. Nobody ever had crowds like we've had. In the history of our country, nobody's ever had crowds, and these corrupt people will never take a camera and turn it around and show them how many people are here. They never do it. They're corrupt. They never do it. You know, I never knew the cameras, because this took place right from, they never want to show how massive our crowd was. You know the biggest crowd I've ever seen? January 6th. And you never hear that. It was the biggest, and they were there largely to protest a corrupt and rigged and stolen election. It's the biggest crowd, and you never hear that. And you see very few pictures of it, but they're there. That was the biggest crowd I believe I've ever spoken to. And by the way, when we're all together, do you mind if I ask you a question? We'll take a vote, okay? Right? I just want to ask you this question. So, about a month ago, I said my last few paragraphs of the speech, and music was playing. And the reason that took place is some genius put my words on a video, and he played beautiful music in the background as I was speaking. And I thought it was very beautiful, actually. I said, wow, he's a great speaker, that guy. He's great. Oh, that's me. No, I thought it was very beautiful. And I did it for a number of rallies, and many people love it. But some people say it's unnecessary, it's not needed. So what I want to do, isn't this interesting? I want to take a free poll. You know, if I hire one of the pollsters, they'll say, we want $500,000. They'll go out and they'll see 203 people. I got 25,000 people. I got all these people. So if I could, you know what I'm talking about, everybody? So we played it with music for the last month, and it's beautiful, and you can hear a pin drop. But some people wrote that they like it better without the music, and some people like it better with. So could I ask you the question, right? Who likes it better with the music? You know what the next question is, right? Who likes it better without the music? Wow, look at... Wait a minute, wait. Okay, let me try that again. That's amazing. Who likes it better with the music? Likes it better without the music? There's one guy back there that likes it better. Look at him. Look at that guy, how big and strong. I'm not going to mess with him. Thank you. All right, backstage, when it's time, we're going to do that music tonight, all right? We'll do it. I'm surprised. I thought it would be a little bit more than that, but that's okay. I actually like doing it with the music. It's so beautiful. I think it's beautiful. And not all the words are beautiful because it talks about how badly our country's doing, but then we get to the end and we say we're going to bring it back stronger than ever. But in conclusion, our MAGA movement, Make America Great Again, you know, Biden's saying, we're going to stop that MAGA movement. I said, explain to him. The words are Make America Great Again. Make. Did you see that with the red lighting like the devil? Did you see that? We're going to stop to Make America Great Again. We're going to stop MAGA. No, MAGA means Make America Great Again. America first. Is that the greatest? You know, we had CAG. You remember CAG? We were going to have the second campaign where we did do much better than we did in the first, but we're going to have the second CAG. Keep America Great. The problem is America wasn't great. America wasn't great because what happened in the last 2 years, we couldn't use that. America isn't great anymore, but it's going to be greater than it ever was, okay? But we couldn't use the words, keep America great. Do you agree in the front row? Are you a front row Joe? I think so. That's right. That's right. Boy, I love these people. They're here for days and days. Front row Mary. Thank you. Thank you, darling. From Vietnam. We love Vietnam, too. I want to thank all the front row Joes that are here 4 days ago. I don't know how you do it. Thank you very much. Look at that guy. I'm not going to mess with that guy either. But together we're standing up against some of the most menacing forces, entrenched interests, and vicious opponents our people have ever seen. Despite these great outside dangers, our biggest threat remains the sick, sinister, and evil people from within our country. You saw some of them up on the screen. And you know whose voice that was? Did you know whose voice that was? Great, great actor. You know that, right? And it wasn't Jon Voight, and we love Jon Voight, too. Don't we love Jon Voight? Jon Voight is great, but I just want to thank them, and I'll get approval to use the name of that particular actor because he obviously did it with love, but I don't want to get him in any trouble. But he's a great one of the best, and Jon Voight is maybe the best. The movies he's made, and he's with us. But no matter how big or powerful the corrupt, radical left Democrats that we are fighting against may be, you must never forget this nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you. Because this is your home, this is your heritage, and our American liberty is your God-given right. You know that. From Las Vegas to Carson City, from Elko to Reno, from Henderson to right here in Minden. We like Minden. We've been to Minden before. We stand on the shoulders of red-blooded American patriots who poured out their heart, sweat, and soul to secure our liberty and defend our freedom. Nevada was founded by some of the toughest men and strongest women ever to walk the face of the earth. This state was built by pioneers and prospectors and miners and cowboys and lawmen and builders and innovators and trailblazers who tamed the frontier, raised up the mighty Hoover Dam, transformed a sprawling desert into a shining oasis, and lit up the brilliant lights on the Las Vegas Strip. I love the Las Vegas Strip. Our American ancestors risked everything to make this into the greatest nation in the history of the world. But now we are a nation in decline. We are a failing nation. We are a nation that has the highest inflation in 50 years, and where the stock market finished the worst first half of the year since 1872. Likewise, we are a nation that has the highest energy costs in its history. We are no longer energy independent or energy dominant, as we were just 2 short years ago. We are a nation that is begging Venezuela and Saudi Arabia, many others also, for oil. Please, please, please help us, Joe Biden says. Yet we have more liquid gold right under our feet than any other nation in the world. We are a nation that is consumed by the radical left's Green New Deal, yet everyone knows that the Green New Deal will lead to our destruction. We are a nation whose leaders are demanding all-electric cars, even though they can't go far, cost too much, and whose batteries are produced in China with materials only available in China, when an unlimited amount of gasoline is available inexpensively in the United States, but it's not available in China. We are a nation that ended oil exploration and production in the United States just as the price of oil reached an all-time high. What other country would do such a thing? We are a nation that surrendered in Afghanistan, leaving behind dead soldiers, American citizens, and $85 billion worth of the finest military equipment anywhere in the world. We are a nation that allowed Russia to devastate a country, Ukraine, killing hundreds of thousands of people, and it will only get worse. It would never have happened with me as your commander-in-chief, and for 4 straight years, it didn't happen. And China, with Taiwan, is next. We are a nation that has weaponized its law enforcement against the opposing political party like never before. We've got a Federal Bureau of Investigation that won't allow bad election-changing facts to be presented to the public, where Hunter Biden's laptop from hell was Russian disinformation when the FBI knew it wasn't, and a Department of Justice that refuses to investigate egregious acts of voting irregularities and fraud. And we have a president who is cognitively impaired, in no condition to lead our country, and is now casually talking about nuclear war with Russia, which would be World War III and far more devastating than any of the other world wars, because of the weaponry that nobody even wants to think about. We are a nation that no longer has a free and fair press. Fake news is all you get, and they are truly the enemy of the people. We are a nation where free speech is no longer allowed, where crime is rampant and out of control like never before, and where more people died of COVID in 2021 than in 2020. We are a nation that is allowing Iran to build a massive nuclear weapon and China to use the trillions and trillions of dollars it has taken from us to build a military to rival our own. And just 2 years ago, we had Iran, China, Russia, North Korea, and Czech. They weren't going to do a thing against us, and everyone knows it because they respected us, and they respected your leader. And perhaps most importantly, we are a nation that is no longer respected or listened to around the world. We are a nation that in many ways has become a joke. And we are a nation that is hostile to liberty, freedom, and faith. We are a nation whose economy is collapsing into a cesspool of ruin, whose supply chain is broken, whose stores are not stocked, and whose deliveries are not coming, whose educational system is ranked at the bottom of every single list. We are a nation where large packs of sadistic criminals and thieves are allowed to go into stores and openly rob them, beat up and kill their workers and customers, and leave with armloads of goods but with no retribution where the authority of our great police has been taken, where their families and pensions have been threatened, and their lives would be destroyed for the mere mention of the words law enforcement. We are a nation where fentanyl and all other forms of illegal drugs are easier to get than formula for our beautiful little babies. A nation whose once revered airports are dirty and a crowded mess. You sit and wait for hours and then are notified that the plane won't leave, and they have no idea when they will. Where ticket prices have tripled, they don't have the pilots to fly the planes, and they don't seek qualified air traffic controllers anymore, and they just don't know what they are doing. We are a nation that has lost its confidence, its willpower, and its strength. We are a nation that has lost its way, but we are not going to allow this horror to continue. 2 years ago, we were a great nation, and we will soon be a great nation again. It was hardworking patriots like you who built this country, and it is hardworking patriots like you who are going to save our country. We will stand up to the radical left Democrats and the dangerous and unpatriotic rhinos, and we will fight for America like no one has ever fought before. There is no mountain we cannot climb. There is no summit we cannot reach. There is no challenge we cannot meet. There is no victory we cannot have. We will not bend. We will not break. We will not yield. We will never give in. We will never give up. And we will never, ever back down. As long as we are confident, united, and loyal to the cause, the tyrants we are fighting do not stand a chance of victory. Because we are Americans, and Americans kneel to God and to God alone. The silent majority is back and stronger than ever before. My fellow citizens, this incredible journey we are on together has only just begun, and it is time to start talking about greatness for our country again. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. So with the help of everyone here today and citizens all across our land, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America great again, greater than ever before. Thank you very much. Thank you, Minden. Thank you very much, Nevada. We love Nevada. God bless you. God bless America. Thank you, everybody.